Got your fur all over my mouth, Butters. Hello, everybody. In case you missed it, the cover and release date for How to Write Romantasy have been revealed, and it's also available for pre-order. I have it linked below. Best of all, if you pre-order How to Write Romantasy, you have the option to receive a free digital workbook that will help you craft a power couple, throuple, or polycule that readers will devour. All the details are in the description, or you can peep the cover reveal, but you want to get in on it fast, so pre-order today. On to today's topic. In honor of the upcoming release of How to Write Romantasy, I am interviewing talented, popular romantasy authors and picking their brains regarding the craft, marketing, and publishing process so that we can learn how they've made it within this ever-growing genre. And today we're talking to Charlotte Mallory, the author of The Secrets of Jane. Charlotte Mallory began her journey decades ago writing fan fiction online as an edgy teenager. As she matured and wanted to take things more seriously, she found channels like Writing with Jenna Moreci to help shape her professionalism. She started self-publishing in 2022 and is deeply connected in the romantasy world, frequently works with incredible authors, has a dedicated fan base, and is known for her special editions. She writes dark, gritty worlds where people find love in the most unlikely places. Not only is Charlotte known for her awesome romantasy novels, she's also known for being a kick-ass marketer. She's killing the game on social media, she's mastered the art of Kickstarter and creating special editions, and she's a big hit at conventions, which is why we're going to talk to her about all things marketing. Hello, Charlotte. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. We were just talking, but I still can't believe how much, I watched your show forever ago. And, I learned so much from your channel. And it's so cool that I got to apply it, and now I'm, an author now. I'm like, what?
That is awesome. I love that so much, and that just makes my day, because that's the whole point of this channel, is we're trying to get people to become authors. And now you're here, so I can pick your brain and learn from you.
Yeah, which is crazy. That's so cool.
Butters is just like, and me.
Oh my God. You should just throw it in every now and then, her little paw.
Right. Hello, I have a question.
Perfect.
Let's dive right in. What are some marketing basics that you think every author needs to get started?
So some of the small stuff that I kind of learned the hard way have the same name. So on my channel, the at and everything is always at C Mallory Author. Helps a lot. Get a website. Sounds really simple, but there's a lot of people who ask for it. There's a lot of people who go find it. A link tree is really helpful. It's just a simple place that people can keep going to. Have at least one social media. Nobody knows your book exists until they know your book exists. Newsletters, I hear a lot of authors really push newsletters. I'm terrible at them, but I still have one. Get Canva to make graphics with. Canva is amazing. If you can subscribe to something, get a Canva.
I completely agree. And then having the names consistent everywhere, it's so funny because that's what I did except for Facebook, because my Facebook name was already used for my personal Facebook account. And I was like, no one will notice. They noticed, and I got hundreds of friend requests to my personal Facebook account. And I was like, okay, I need to change the name here. Which brings us to our next question. Social media is a huge asset to authors. Which platforms do you think are the best for writers, and what are the best practices that you swear by?
I feel like Instagram and TikTok are the obvious platforms. I've got a lot of networking opportunities on Instagram, TikTok too. I've met a lot of other authors on those platforms. I feel like that's a really good place to go viral. The other ones are Threads, Blue Sky. People use Pinterest a little bit. I don't think it's a good place to find your whole market, but it can pepper in a few more people here or there. YouTube. I think Instagram and TikTok. I don't know. There's just so much happening on those platforms, especially in the romance genre. Anything romance.
I agree. And because you mentioned that you're not super big on Facebook, I feel like I'm always telling people that certain social media platforms cater to certain audiences. So I don't think for what we write, I don't think Facebook is quite as prevalent.
Actually, I'll take it back slightly. Is Facebook groups. So there's a lot of romance Facebook groups of all kinds. You can't do a lot of self-recs, but I have known at least 2 people who have gone massively viral in those groups though. But if your page goes viral, it doesn't go in these pages. So it's a surprise viral if you go viral there.
I'm in a few Facebook groups, but again, since I rarely use Facebook, I check in every 6 months, hello, I'm back.
Same. I'm so bad at it.
But yeah, Instagram is my favorite for sure. I do agree. Instagram and TikTok are really big for romance,
Mhm.
romantasy,
Oh, yeah.
dark romance, all that good stuff.
Yes.
Those are the best places. And people are always asking me like, should I get on YouTube? YouTube has been really big for you. It's one of those like sort of yes, sort of no, because
Yeah.
YouTube worked, obviously really great for me and my platform, but I got in on the action 10 years ago when there
Mhm.
were only 2 other writer accounts on YouTube.
Yep.
And now it's very saturated. And that's not to say that YouTube isn't an option anymore, because there are still people joining YouTube today and making names for themselves. It's just, it's not the sweet spot anymore. You know what I mean?
Yep, which is why trends are really important. Like, I feel like that always gives an opportunity for a new sweet spot where it's like your stuff, your content might hit just right during a trend, but YouTube is really hard.
It's definitely harder. And on top of that, of all platforms to get in on, even more so than podcasting, YouTube's the hardest because you need the camera and the lighting and the microphone and
editing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the hardest one. So I'm always kind of like, if you can try Instagram and TikTok first, since it's free, it doesn't, there's no investment to get into those. So I would start there. And then if, you can, try YouTube later. Of course, some people, they're like, YouTube's my thing. I'm like, sure, go for it. But the way I see it, if I were starting now, I'd probably start with Instagram or TikTok because it's a cheaper investment versus going for YouTube, especially now that it's a lot more saturated.
I totally agree with all that.
So right now, especially in the romantasy space, Kickstarters are huge, particularly for special editions. This is something you have a lot of experience with. Can you walk us through the process and how it works?
So Kickstarter, it's a new place that people are publishing on. I know a lot of authors that will actually publish their book on there first. You're not doing it officially because there's no ISBN usually on a lot of these special editions, but they will release their book there first. And then they'll move it to publishing on Amazon or anywhere else. And there's a huge market. There's people who buy books on Kickstarter who won't go on Amazon to get your book, because they specifically want the really fancy, fun edition. That's what they're hunting for. There's a lot of opportunity there. First thing I would say is go and back somebody. Right now, go on Kickstarter, take a look around and back a book, because you'll learn so much about the process as a reader and a buyer. And that's really important. And it's a good way to get one of the books, so you get to see it in person and be like, oh, okay, this is what people are wanting. Then I recommend getting your page started as soon as you can. Because right now I have one for my omnibus that's going to be coming out in September. I'm launching it on Kickstarter, and I opened up the page probably a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, so people can start following it. And I've already got 320 followers on it. I don't announce it at all. I don't talk about it. People just find it, or they find it on my page. And if you can get up to 500 to 600 followers, I mean, you'll make a pretty good chunk of change with that amount of followers. It's usually about 10 to 30% of your followers will back the platform or back the project. It just depends on the project. Kickstarter for authors on Facebook. That's a great place to learn a lot about your Kickstarter. Once you can tinker behind the scenes, you can send that to the Facebook group, and they can look at the actual what you're setting up behind the scenes, and they can give you feedback.
Oh, wow.
So it helps a lot. It's so helpful. And there's a lot of people on there who are very experienced. It's probably one of the best resources for Kickstarters, where they're like, hey, don't go with this printer for now. They're having problems. Go with this printer. Shipping is a huge one. I know some people who lost a lot of money on shipping because they're like, I'll just charge $15 for shipping across board. And then turns out it costs $20. So they lost money. Oh, you would definitely want to get your quotes early. If you're looking to do the Kickstarter, maybe go find a printer that's working, that works with you and stuff, and get a quote for how much it'll cost. Because then you can appropriately charge. Because usually you want to double whatever it is you're charging, because that's how much it would cost to rebuy that book. And then you want to add a certain markup to that. And that markup can include things it's all your time, and also too, you might have to get artwork commissioned beforehand. You can kind of put that into the markup a little bit too. I need to recoup these costs. So I need to charge the book, X amount of dollars. I think one thing too that people don't expect is at the end, there's a lot of credit card chargebacks. So say if you make 30 grand, you might end up actually taking home 22,000, because sometimes you'll have that much fluctuation and people who have to charge back, or they're oh, I don't want this anymore. Which is also why it's recommended to stick to maybe a 20-30 day Kickstarter timeline. Otherwise people, they constantly will, because I do the same thing. I go through and I'm like, I want that book and that book and that book and that book. And then if it takes a long time, I'd be like, oh, maybe I don't want that book anymore, because, that kind of hurt my wallet. So if you just make it quick and you also make the delivery quick, it's just a good experience for the buyer. I think that just makes your page all the more exciting, for people to back. Yeah, there's a lot, but I recommend that Kickstarter group. I've done it. I've been with a lot of like author friends who have done really good with Kickstarter.
Yeah, all of that is so fascinating to me because I had to take a couple years off from writing and stuff because of family medical stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when Kickstarter exploded. And then I came back in the scene and I'm like, what's going on? I don't like, this is all brand new to me. I've got dog hair on my lip butters. Thanks a lot. I had never heard of the Facebook group. I will definitely need that link because that's definitely something that I would like to consider in the future. But like you go to these pages and it's so much stuff and it's so overwhelming. So it's nice to know that there's a group where it's like, help me.
Yes.
Help me.
Yes, and they're great about it. It's just such a helpful space. Like say if you're going to do like a special edition, you're like, I need $5,000, you know, to print it, design it, get a box for it, get some character art for it. However, if you're okay with backing maybe 2,500 of it yourself, put the goal to 2,500 because the sooner your Kickstarter funds, the better it's going to do. Mm-hmm. Because if Kickstarter algorithm basically sees like, oh my gosh, they funded their goal in like a day. I know people who get funded in 30 minutes. If you can like offset any bit of it, the algorithm loves to see things that fund really quick. Keep publishing books. Same thing on Kickstarter. Keep publishing. It'll just build. It'll just keep building.
Do you start, you know, because you had mentioned that some people, they publish initially on Kickstarter and then they, you know, publish it later on Amazon. Do you do that method or do you do the special edition like afterward, after the book?
I do it after.
Uh-huh.
I really enjoy publishing. Like I enjoy all that busyness and chaos and stuff, but I can't have too much of it. So it's like, I'd rather publish it first, get some readers, and then push that to my Kickstarter. You gotta really know what you're doing. Because you could end up in like a sticky situation really fast where like things aren't done and then readers are like, where's the book?
Right.
You know, because it could be like months later and you're like, well, so that's another thing. Communication is key. If you're taking forever, if a printer's taking forever, if you're like, guys, I had to, you know, redo something or whatever, just keep them updated. The things that have failed the most have been Kickstarters where people just don't say anything. Then the readers will end up wanting refunds at that point because then they feel like it's a lot of money they're investing. And so if they don't have any communication, it feels kind of like, am I going to get a book? I don't know.
Right.
There's this other shiny book. Yeah. And so then they're like, I'll just maybe back this one instead.
And I think it's great that you mentioned that because a lot of authors that I talk to, especially like newer authors, they'll be like, well, I don't have anything, you know, like worthwhile to say. No one cares about what I have to say. And it's like, they're buying your book. They obviously care about what you have to say. So say something. And you like, I feel like people forget that, you know, in your readers' eyes, you're almost a celebrity. So even if you just check in to be like, hey guys, printing is in a week, they're just like,
they love that.
Talk to me, you know, like it's exciting, you know, but
they're paying attention. They, especially if they paid for your book, they want it. They want to talk to you. They want your book. Like they want your stuff. Don't feel like you're talking to the void. You know, there's people out there who are waiting for it.
What are some pitfalls to avoid when using Kickstarter or promoting special editions?
It's a controversial topic, but it's important to mention, and that's the use of AI art. Try your best to get commissioned art. It will do better. Essentially, I've just noticed you can have more of a drawback from having AI art, but you never get a drawback from having commissioned art.
Right.
So try very hard. If you can, I know it's a lot of money and it's expensive. At that point, don't even use art, I guess, because I mean, once you use something like that, it just puts you in a weird bucket where now you have to kind of dig yourself out of it. Another one would be pricing. It's really important to get things quoted beforehand. I've seen a lot of people, they'll make a lot of money and then turns out they did not price it very well and they only made like $10. So after all the work you made into everything, you only like made $10 per book.
I'm so glad you mentioned the AI art thing because even if we don't get into that, which obviously there are a zillion ethical issues with AI art, but even if we don't get into that, people know that AI art is cheap or free. Even if you spent like a $5 monthly subscription for the art, they know that you didn't spend that much money. So why are they going to spend $50 on this book?
And another thing too, people don't usually consider is networking. A lot of authors don't like AI art for obvious reasons. And so once they see you're using AI art, they'll be like, nope. One thing to do to promote your stuff is to do newsletter swaps. So if a lot of authors will go and see that you have AI art, they'll be like, no. So it's just one of those things where like, just don't touch it. If you can help it, just don't touch it. Once it's out there, and it's really hard to back off of that, especially if you publish a book with an AI cover, you can't take that back.
Right.
And so say if a year from now, you're like, oh, that was really stupid. Well, it's too late. You know, you already did it. So just use the art. I promise. People love actual art. And they know it's actual art too. they love supporting that stuff.
Yeah. I was going to interview an author on my channel and I saw they used AI art and I was like, well,
Yeah.
on to the next, you know?
Yeah, exactly. There is, and the thing is, because I think that's such like a silent rejection, people who use it don't see that they're having this impact. They don't see that they're missing out on so many opportunities because people just ignore them. But and then they're like, what's going on? Why isn't this working? And it's just because just don't touch it. Spray bottle. Like, if I could, I would just spray bottle people. Yeah.
And also, people will be like, well, commissioning an artist is so expensive. Well, first of all, I've seen artists whose charge as little as $70. So it's
they're out there.
Yeah, so you can find like quote unquote affordable art. And yes, a lot of it is like $500. But if you think about it, if you get like one piece for your book and you sell 500 books, that's just $1 per book. It's worthwhile in the long run. Exactly.
And a lot of this, especially if we're talking special editions, they're investment. Right. Not only for you, but the reader is investing in your book. So like make it special.
And there's so many artists to choose from. I follow at least 30 artists on Instagram and I'm like, whose commissions are open? Okay.
Yes. You know? Sometimes you have to like reach out to them like a year ahead of time. Readers go feral for character art. They absolutely love like an example of like in my just one of my special editions. So like I display that all the time. And then people, I know this is Lulybot. I love her stuff. It's in the book. See, that's the thing. If this had been like an AI art when they opened it, it just looks cheap. And then they're like, I have to spend $40 on that, and it's just AI. I don't know. It doesn't work.
Some people will be like, they can't tell if it's AI. Yes, you can. The guy's got 2 pupils in one eye. Like everyone can tell. Like the only people who can't tell are boomers. Let's be real. Like everyone knows. All right, so we kind of touched on this already, but just in case there's anything else that we've missed, what are some of the best practices to hosting a Kickstarter that you've discovered over the years?
Communication, first one. I've watched people completely recover a fumble. Like, say if a printer was just like, we can't do this anymore, and it's going to take another 3 to 6 months to get a book. They were so communicative that the readers didn't care. They're like, cool, just keep us updated. Like, there's one, I don't want to name names, but there is a Kickstarter out there right now where somebody went to do the Kickstarter for a book that wasn't written yet. So, but she was already an author, so people were kind of, I think, like, oh, no problem, she's an author, she'll write this book. And it's like 2 or 3 years later, and she still hasn't written the book. But it's not that. People are like, they're left hanging. Like, there's been no update for a long time. And that was the biggest issue for readers. They're like, we're here for you. Just let us know what's going on.
Right.
You know, let us know if you got something wrong with your life. Cool. We're still here for you. Just keep us updated. Yeah, if you can, what I really recommend is get samples of a book. So like when you order from somebody, get a proof copy because you don't have to place the full order yet. And then use that and make like a video with it. If you can have a video showing off the book, it does so much better. Another thing too is a trailer. If you can make a trailer just on Canva, you can hire somebody for it. Trailers do really, really, really good, especially if they're in the banner. Yeah, working with other people too. If you can work with somebody who makes candles, Kickstarters, people, they love to back other like makers and creatives. So they love it if your campaign has at least 1 or 2. So the same thing, character art. Character art counts for that. If you're like, hey, I've got character art from this person and this person, people, I don't know, it feels more like you're backing a Kickstarter. Because I guess the whole essence of a Kickstarter, it's like a collaborative effort. You know, it's like the buyer, they're helping you with this because you're wanting to do these big things. If it's just something small and simple, not that they won't back that, but the more special you can make it, the more they're getting their bang for their buck.
And also, it's sort of like you are, you know, cross-promoting in a way, because if you're working with a particular artist, fans of that artist might be like, oh, now I want to check out this book, you know, because I really love this artist, and, you know, they're coming from that platform as well. All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about book conventions. Book conventions are super popular, but they can be overwhelming, especially recent news of the Million Lives convention.
I have so many author friends that went to that.
I know people who went to that too, and it's just like, oh my gosh, that would be like my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I think it's every author's worst nightmare. But yeah, they can be super overwhelming. There's travel involved, there's merchandise, it's a lot. What do you think are the pros and cons to in-person conventions? I guess we just discussed the con kind of, but how do you make them work for you?
Yeah, so I actually, part of the pros, speaking of networking, is networking. There's something about meeting somebody and like putting, like, I don't know, just seeing them in person that almost solidifies. You're constantly interacting online over and over. When you meet them, it's like, cool, we're in this together, aren't we? And it has just helped so much with referrals. If you're like, I need an editor quick, or I need an artist, or do you want to do a giveaway together? Like I just recently did a really big giveaway on my page, and I had a few really big authors in there, but it helped because the networking. Second one is meeting the readers. It's validating in a way that you can't get anywhere else, because you actually get to see the impact of your book. When you publish online, you're just sitting there.
Right.
Waiting, like nothing happens, like no one like rings a gong that you published a book. It's like you're just like, okay, you're waiting for reviews. But at a convention, like you get to see people pick up your book and be like really excited about it. People get like, they'll bring books to you to sign. It's so cool.
And then what about some of the cons about conventions?
So they're not very cost effective unless you're like a really big author,
right?
Because it costs so much money. It costs travel, food, the books, you have to buy so many in bulk beforehand. Shipping costs so much too, which is what hurt the most, I think, with the Million Lives. Is I know so many people who had to spend so much money to ship books home, because you spend so much to get them there, and then you have to ship them home, and you're just like what just happened? Yeah, I would say too, there's a lot of pressure. It's not a great place. I have some author friends where I'm like, I don't think you should go to a convention. Or if you go, like take like 3 people with you to help man the station, because it is not good for social anxiety. It is so much like you're just under pressure. And if you don't have something, you don't have it. But you have to keep going and act like you do have it. Totally worth it, but very stressful.
And for anyone who is watching this and confused about what we're talking about with A Million Lives, just Google it. Thank you so much for hopping on the channel. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Do you have any projects in the works, and where can everyone find you online?
Yeah, so on Instagram or anywhere really, I am C Mallory author. The omnibus is coming out in September. This is books 1 and 2. Dark romantasy. It's the Improper Bastard series. Pirates of the Caribbean meets The Witcher. Rated R. So it's super fun, but it's the Improper Bastard series. So if you're not okay with that, you probably won't like the book. But if you love that, you might love the book. I got another novella. Yeah, I do too. I was like, I can't advertise on Amazon because like they don't like the Improper Bastards, but I'm like, I'm dying on that hill.
Right.
Because I love that name so much.
It's great. And people know what they're getting themselves into. No one can complain like, perfect book had filthy language. It's like, well, what were you?
Oh, they do. They still complain. And I'm like, oh, the Improper Bastard series? It had filthy language? Oh, that's just shocking. Yeah. But I have another project. I started to tease it a little bit to my readers, but it's a novella coming out August 1st. I'm super excited. I just got my narrators. It's Brandon Francis, Jackie Pryor. If you like audiobooks, my audiobook's coming out in the fall. For the first book, it's with Jackie Pryor and Anthony Palmini. I'm really excited for the novella. I haven't really teased it a whole lot, but it's a forbidden romance, forbidden letters, romantasy. So like they exchange letters with each other. And so yeah, it's so much fun. I love it so much. And I've never done a novella before. So it's been a really good challenge on how to be very precise with my sentences.
Hey, I was going to say, do you have a title yet? But it's secret for now.
Well, I can say it. Who cares? It's if you're watching the show, good for you. But it's Bound in Violent Heat. So I probably couldn't do traditional publishing. I'd get fired. Because I would just reveal everything all the time.
I just am now dipping my toes into hybrid publishing. So I have one book that's being traditionally published, and they made it available for pre-order. And they were like, don't tell anyone yet, though. This is the soft launch. The next day at my live stream, I'm like, hey, the book's available for pre-order. And then I told them that, and they were just like, and I'm like, they're like, all right, well, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited. This is, again, it's so cool to be so full circle, to be like, oh my God. I think I did do it.
Yes,
like I started from just being this little like fan fiction author, like as a teenager, and now I'm like, oh, I'm an author. Okay,
and you're killing the game.
Yeah, well, it's weird. It's cool. It's like it's so hard to really realize it when you're like, I'm succeeding.
Relish.
Your channel helped a lot, though. I feel like it helped really help me understand the industry. I think too, especially like with trad and indie. Trad's great. It has its places, but it's a whole different beast. And indie authors is really good for a lot of people who want to take charge initially anyway, maybe informing your identity. It's a great way to form your own identity first. That way, then the traditional publisher has to take you on because post, you're just like, this is who I am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah.
thinking. That's the route I went.
I love it.
So that's all I got for you today. How to Write Romantasy comes out in October, so if you're trying to write your very own fantasy romance novel, pre-order it today. Even better, everyone who pre-orders can receive a bonus digital workbook. All you have to do is submit your proof of purchase. I've got the details in the description below. You can also check out my first writing craft book, Shut Up and Write the Book, or you can check out the first 2 books in my award-winning romantasy series, The Savior's Champion and The Savior's Sister. They're linked below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Wednesdays and host live streams on Mondays. And if you want to be alerted as soon as I upload, ring that bell. Bye!
Hey, this is Nick, the voice of Tobias and the narrator for The Savior's Champion, written by our Jenna. If you enjoy her writing advice, or if you want to find out about her publications, then you know what to do. Click the subscribe button, ding the bell, and you'll get notified every single time she puts up a video or she goes live. Now what are you waiting for?